Oh my god, I'm screaming. I can't even deal right now. Okay, but listen, you are not going to believe the absolute unhinged insanity that just went down at Marco Rios' funeral on General Hospital today. I was literally just eating dinner and literally choked on my pasta. I had to pause the TV and text my friend immediately because my brain is short-circuiting. I am shaking. The drama is just so dramatic today, and I am living for every single chaotic second of it. I know I sound crazy right now, but you have to understand the magnitude of what just happened. We are talking about the biggest plot twist of the entire decade, and I am not even exaggerating. My jaw dropped, and it is still on the floor. I actually can't breathe. I'm dead. Oh wait, before that happened, actually, I forgot to mention earlier, but let's set the scene because the tension was already at an absolute boiling point before the major twist even happened. So we are at the church for Marco Rios' funeral. Poor Marco, honestly, RIP, because he really thought he was invincible just because his dad is Jen Sidwell, and then Ross Cullum just literally stabbed him to death at the law office, which is insane by the way, and left Alexis to find the body. So Sidwell is at the church, and he is grieving, but it's that terrifying, quiet, mob boss kind of grief where you just know someone is going to end up in a body bag before the day is over. He is standing there looking like a literal villain out of a movie, just radiating absolute pure rage and vengeance. And then, because he makes the absolute worst choices ever, Sonny Corinthos decides to walk in. Why would he do that? I'm yelling at my screen, "Sonny, turn around! Go home! This is not your day!" But no, Sonny walks in wearing this immaculate, perfectly tailored suit flanked by his brother Rick Lansing. Rick looks like he wants to be literally anywhere else on the planet, and I don't blame him. Sonny thinks he's doing the right thing. He thinks he's going to offer his condolences and play the peacemaker to prevent an all-out mob war. He genuinely believes that if he shows his face and pays his respects, Sidwell will realize that Sonny had absolutely nothing to do with Marco's murder, but Sidwell is already convinced that Sonny ordered the hit. So Sonny walks up to Sidwell, and the entire church goes completely silent. You could hear a pin drop. It was so tense, I actually forgot to blink for like 3 minutes straight. Sonny gives this whole speech about how he is sorry for Sidwell's loss and how they need to keep the peace, and Sidwell just glares at him, and then Sidwell snaps. He literally unleashes all of his anger right there in front of the casket. He tells Sonny straight to his face that he doesn't believe for a single second that Sonny is sorry. He calls Sonny's sympathy completely phony and basically accuses him of murdering his son right there in the middle of the funeral. At this point, I'm yelling at my screen again because the disrespect is wild. Sidwell is ready to start open warfare right then and there. I'm calling it now. This is going to end badly. Okay, where was I? Right, so Sidwell and Sonny are basically inches away from each other, practically at each other's throats, and it looks like Sidwell's men are about to pull their weapons right inside the sanctuary. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Sonny is trying to hold his ground, explaining that they have to handle this now or it's going to be a bloodbath in the streets of Port Charles. But Sidwell is not listening. He is blinded by grief and he wants Sonny's head on a silver platter. I honestly thought we were about to see a shootout in the church, but then, oh my god, I get chills just thinking about it. The heavy wooden doors at the back of the church just slowly creak open. Everyone turns around. The lighting was so dramatic, like something out of a thriller, and stepping out of the shadows, looking absolutely flawless and terrifying at the same time, is Natalia Ramirez. I'm screaming again just typing this. Natalia Ramirez! She is alive! We all thought she was dead! She was supposed to be dead! Sidwell swore he was going to avenge her and Marco, and here she is, walking down the aisle of the church in the middle of a funeral! I was like, are you serious right now? She was supposed to be gone. But no, she is very much alive, and she looks like she is on a mission to destroy everyone and everything in her path. The audacity. Not okay. I'm done. Wait, did I already say that? Whatever. Anyway, Natalia struts down the aisle of the church, and the sound of her heels clicking on the stone floor is the only sound in the entire building. Everyone is just frozen in shock. Sidwell looks like he has actually seen a ghost. His eyes are wide, his mouth is slightly open, and he can't even form a sentence. Sonny looks completely bewildered. Rick Lansing looks like he's about to pass out. And Natalia just walks right up to the front, right between Sunny and Sidwell, completely unbothered by the fact that she is crashing a funeral for a mob boss's son, and she doesn't just say hello. No, she is way too dramatic for that. She reaches into her coat and pulls out this massive, thick stack of photographs, and she just violently throws them right down onto the floor at Jen Sidwell's feet. The photos scatter everywhere, and even from the camera angle, you can see that they are completely covered in blood. They are bloody, gruesome photos of the crime scene. I literally gasped out loud. I had to cover my mouth because I was so shocked. Natalia stands there, looking Sidwell dead in the eye, and she dong-dak boldly and clearly announces to the entire room the absolute truth. She points at the photos and declares with zero hesitation that Sonny Corinthos is completely innocent. She tells Sidwell that the man who cold-bloodedly murdered Marco Rios is none other than Ross Cullum. My jaw dropped. Again! I mean, we the audience knew Cullum did it because we saw him stab Marco in Alexis Davis's office after Marco stole Brits Huntington's medication from the Windermere safe. We knew Cullum was a dirty WSB director who was trying to protect Caesar Faison's cold fusion project. But the characters didn't know. Sidwell was so completely convinced that Sonny did it. And now Natalia Ramirez, back from the dead, is dropping the biggest truth bomb in the history of Port Charles right in the middle of Marco's funeral. It was iconic. It was actually the most iconic television moment I have ever witnessed in my entire life. Sidwell looks down at the bloody photos, and you can literally see his entire reality shattering into a million pieces. He sees the evidence. He sees whatever is in those photos that proves Cullum is the killer. And you guys, Sidwell's face, he goes completely unhinged. I have never seen an actor portray absolute psychotic rage so perfectly. He realizes that he has been blaming the wrong man this entire time, and that the real killer is a high-ranking government official who has been playing them all. Sidwell literally loses his mind right there in the church. He starts screaming. Not just yelling, but like guttural, terrifying screaming. He vows, right in front of God and everyone, that he is going to completely level Port Charles. He says he is going to tear the entire city apart, brick by brick, and burn it to the ground just to sacrifice Ross Cullum. He wants to start the bloodiest, most violent underworld war in the history of the world. He doesn't care who gets in his way. He doesn't care about collateral damage, he just wants Cullum dead, and he wants it to be slow and painful. And honestly, I get it because Cullum is the absolute worst and Marco didn't deserve to go out like that, but also, he needs to get it together, I swear. You can't just announce that you are going to destroy a whole city at a funeral. The guests are literally terrified. People are backing away. Sidwell's men are looking at him like they don't know whether to start shooting or run for their lives. It is pure, absolute chaos. But then, and this is where it gets even crazier, if that is even possible, Sonny steps up. Sonny Corinthos, the man who Sidwell was literally just about to murder 5 minutes ago, steps in to stop him. Sonny grabs Sidwell's attention and is like, "Hold up, you need to think about this." Because Sonny, despite being a mob boss himself, actually has a brain and knows how the world works. Sonny looks Sidwell in the eye and tells him that he can't just go in guns blazing. Why? Because Ross Cullum isn't just some random street thug or a rival mobster. He is the director of the WSB. He is the head of an international spy agency with limitless resources, government backing, and highly trained assassins at his beck and call. Sonny warns Sidwell that if he just attacks Cullum blindly, the WSB will wipe Sidwell off the face of the earth before he even gets close. You can't just easily take down a man with that much power. It requires strategy. It requires precision. And then, oh my god, I am getting so hyped just typing this. Sonny offers a truce. He tells Sidwell that Cullum is a threat to both of them. Cullum framed Sonny, Cullum killed Marco, and Cullum is running a dirty operation that is putting everyone they care about in danger. So Sonny proposes the unthinkable. He tells Sidwell that they need to ally. They need to join forces. I can't breathe. The fact that Sonny Corinthos and Jen Sidwell, two of the most ruthless, powerful, and dangerous men in the entire criminal underworld, who have been at each other's throats for months, are actually going to team up? It's wild. It's actually wild. Mark my words, this is going to be the most epic storyline ever. Sidwell is breathing heavily, still looking like a feral animal, but you can see the gears turning in his head. He looks at Natalia, he looks at the bloody photos on the floor, and then he looks at Sonny. And he realizes Sonny is right. If he wants to truly destroy Ross Cullum and avenge Marco, he needs Sonny's help. He needs Sonny's network, his strategy, and his firepower to bypass the WSB's defenses. So right there, over the casket of his dead son, with Natalia Ramirez standing between them like some sort of dark angel of vengeance, Jen Sidwell and Sonny Corinthos form an alliance. They agree to pool their resources and their empires to hunt down Ross Cullum and make him pay. They're going to take down the director of the WSB together. I am literally shaking. I cannot wait for tomorrow's episode. How is Cullum going to react when he finds out that the two biggest mob bosses in the world are coming for him? Where has Natalia been this whole time, and how did she get those photos? What is Jason going to do since he's currently taking the fall for shooting Cullum to protect Rocco? There are so many questions and my brain is just spinning. This show is going to be the death of me, I swear. I need to go lie down. But seriously, best episode ever. Iconic. Legendary. I am obsessed.